Hello, my name is Michael Andrew Schrantz, and this is for SPED 500 on IDEA and the IEP process. When students on an IEP or individual education plan, it can be stressful, but even with that, there are several resources for the students and parents which can make the process a little bit easier, like having help of the student's IEP team, which includes their teachers, specialists, their schools, administrators, and so on. This can help with the navigation of their students' IEP and special education much easier and make the parents more confident about decisions made by themselves and the student's team. During the IEP process, it is essential for the student and the parents to be a part of it in order to be successful. It's important as well that the parent should be asked about evaluations and the consent of, as well as the consent of finalizations of the child's IEP, along with being able to recognize the parent's input from the IEP team. The parents should be viewed as an equal member of this IEP team and should be recognized as such. It is the responsibility of the IEP team to give parents a copy of all procedural processes and safeguards and the outline of their rights under IDEA. When it comes to the IEP meetings, the student should always be a part of it. The IEP should reflect the student's needs, preferences, strengths, or interests of the student him or herself, and it should be a consideration while creating the IEP as well as during any modifications of said IEP. As for referrals, there are requests for evaluation to special education with this process. There are many steps when getting a referral. The first of which in the referral is where there needs to be someone who realizes there is a significant need for said referral for that student. After that, there are other pre-referral steps in which the students is collected, where data is collected on the students, and it is looked over a need for forms of intervention which happen at this time. It is then submitted as a request for special education evaluation. The fourth step would be that special education evaluation in which trained individuals assess in many different processes the eligibility of the evaluation determines if the student in question needs special education. If they are viewed as eligible, an IEP meeting is done, and the IEP is then created and put into implementation for the student. In the end, evaluations are set up to determine what works and what does not work for the student. Even with all of this, it does not mean that the student in question is part of special education. It might just mean that they need extra help to be able to be successful. Like mentioned before, evaluations happen when referrals get submitted for the student. In this time, the evaluation has highly qualified people that do a variety of assessments and use tools to determine the student's skills, mentally, academically, emotionally, and cognitively. The evaluations are administered to students to see if they have disabilities or need support, and whether or not they can be fundamentally successful to finish their education. This evaluation will always show what disabilities, if there is one, present, and what services the child might need for said disability. This will give data and a team of qualified individuals that will determine from that data if students in question have a disability or not. If they are eligible for the services of special education, what they may need to succeed is given to them. In the end, the report will be provided to the parents at no extra expense, and then will be determined if the support of special education is needed. The IEP itself has many moving parts and is very personalized for the students, so all of their needs are seen to and met in the school environment. This includes things like the most current educational accomplishments, goals that are possible for the student for the year, progress the student has made with their goals, statements related to services and special education itself, any and all accommodations and modifications afforded to the student, how they may interact with other students that don't have disabilities, even how they might participate with students that don't have disabilities, as well as date for the start of special education services. In the end, there are expectations that are required to be met with regards to communication with the teachers and parents, as well as with the students. These things include documentation of interactions that happen, such as calls, meetings, emails, and disciplinary action taken towards the student. It is the school as well as the teacher's responsibility to relay any meetings or needs of students that must be addressed within the educational environment. In conclusion, it can all be confusing, but with the teachers and parents working together, students have more of a chance to succeed and maybe even be moved out of special education or their IEP. Students really need the support from these people in order to reach their success and full potential that we can give them. Thank you.